Hey, everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. You're in the team room, and we have a returning guest, Jared Taylor. Dude, this is like your third time being on here, I think.
Yeah, and each time I get more hated and hated, so I can't wait for this one.
More and more hated by who?
Oh, I don't know. They never talk to me. They just talk to everybody else. I just hear, oh, a bunch of people had a problem with the things you said on One's Ready. Hey, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just inviting people to argue with me, but they won't.
It's having a discussion. That's all it is. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Hey, prove me
Everybody's
wrong.
got different
Like,
perspective. Yeah.
I've got a massive conspiracy theory that I think, big Air Force is against us. Like I think they're moving pieces right now. So eventually, AFSW, they're just gonna go, hey, this is the Army's business. We don't want anything to do with it anymore.
I mean, I haven't thought about that. That's a pretty good conspiracy. I definitely know that we are, the kind of the redheaded stepchildren of the Air Force. But I don't, man,
See,
that'd be some big moves to
I
actually
put it
get
like
rid of
this.
us.
Well, I just put it like this. We are a bill. We are a large bill to the Air Force. And when the Air Force is ran by the fighter missile community, this is a bill that many don't necessarily understand, or maybe they don't want to understand, or they get tired of looking at this bill, and they're eventually going to ask the question, why are we paying for this? And
Yeah.
I think that's a real statement for us to look at in the next 15 years if we're being real with ourselves, like as everything's shaping that. Yeah, I mean, you look at you know the names of the people that are up there right now, and they're very much so in tune with making changes that save money and take the responsibility off of Blue's shoulders. So with that in mind, it's a real conversation to have.
No, it is. And I kind of preface this with a lot of the conversations I have is just, man, I like to think, and I know that this is ignorant and not correct, because I would like to think that everybody has, in terms of Air Force and DoD leadership, has people's best interests in mind. But like we've already proven that that is not the case. So moving on from that, I also look at each of these decisions that are made as an equation, and there are different variables that plug and play into that. And at certain levels, they are exposed to the variables that we don't have, and so that there's decisions that are made that we can't possibly know all the little details to. Like I said, that is very rosy colored glasses looking at it, because again, we've already talked about uh, certain medical procedures that were done that shouldn't have been done, shouldn't have been agreed upon, shouldn't have been forced out or forced on people to then get them to leave the military. Like that should have never happened, and the DoD leadership should have done something about that. Now, I don't know how that translates into getting us into the Army or removing us completely. Maybe, but
Well,
there's also,
I see it as kind of like where I'm looking at this is like we messed up like 40 years ago with the way that we aligned, with the way that we had operational and tactical control with our service partners. And I think that is where this is going to come to a head and eventually hurt us, because just taking the TACP career field, let's just talk about that, because that's where I come from and that's what I know is, generally speaking, the Army does not like how this works. They do not like that. Oh, I get a new pack of Air Force every rotation. I have to learn how to integrate with them, and then they're supposed to provide me this service. And there is sometimes a lot of friction there. There's a lot of issues with the maturity level of JTACs going into the battalions, you know, I've always advocated for an age restriction. I felt that if you're going to be a JTAC, you have to be at least 25 years old. And I will argue that with anybody that wants to argue it with me, because I was a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, you know, as a battalion JTAC, like, and I look back on those combat rotations and go, God, I was an idiot. Like, I was fighting the wrong battles. I was doing really stupid things, and you know, I wasn't focused on the job like I should have been. And the only thing that could have changed with that would have been, you know, 3 to 5 more years of just maturity and age before I was sent to be the one Air Force representative inside an entire battalion of infantry guys. So it's like where I think this is going to head is, you've got, you know, our customer who generally isn't too happy with how this plays out, and you have our boss, our dad, who isn't too keen for paying for it. So you marry those two things together, and, you know, maybe we just become the training function for the Army eventually. The Army 13 Foxes get the ability, they finally win the fight to become certified JTACs, and the TACP career field essentially becomes the people that train those guys and maintain their records and manage the JTAC program.
Well, that is a
is this too much?
Well, so in the great scheme of things, like the AFSPECWAR is not that expensive when it comes to buying planes, buying ships, and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe how much are we really like? Okay, so take the dive school from controllers, right? Like, how much did we really save? Like, that's what that was touted as, is
it was like 3 million or something
effort.
a year or something. Like, it wasn't astronomical,
like,
but again, they're looking at this as a line item, like that's why I have a different perspective of this, because we do it as the company, as we're looking at things and go, oh, that doesn't matter, just get rid of it. Even though that line item is somebody's baby, that's their whole lot, that's their whole thing. Like they're the most important thing in their own world. Whereas from the top looking down, we're like, oh, that's unnecessary for what we're doing. I mean, it's going into next year. What fighter squadron or bomber squadron wants to go train CAS? Like, they're busy trying to like get ready for a really heavy electronic warfare fight, really heavy near peer fight. Like, so who wants to say, hey, you know, 355th, you're going to Utah for 2 weeks to do OP CAS with the 14th ASOS? Like, they don't want to do it. And that's expensive too. Like, flight hours in a fighter are expensive.
Yes, it's different now. Like, so those trips that you and I are very familiar with, you know, you go out to Nellis, you go out to Gilliban, you go out to Avon Park, and you're just doing CAS with hogs and vipers and strike eagles and stuff like that for 2 weeks. Those are still happening, but less frequently. Now I'm showing up to an F-35 unit, an F-22 unit, for a couple of days with a handful of people, not a massive CAS trip. And now we're focusing on things like distributed C2 and trying to help the forward edge, help those guys that are out there without C2, because wherever they're at, they're going to be so far in front of airborne C2 assets that it's going to be the dudes that are already on the ground, already on some of the islands or whatever, that are able to provide. Is it the same level of command and control? No, it's not. Like, we can't.
Well, so I've heard this, like I've heard this from all my friends,
something
that this is kind of the shift that they're going to, but it's almost like the cart before the horse here is, you know, everyone's going, oh, well, we're training on deep recce, deep strike, you know, forward edge of battle, forward line of troops. Like, we're ahead. Okay. Well, when did they train you guys how to be LURS? Like, we don't have that skill set. So now you're telling me you're going to take TAC Ps and you're going to what? static line parachute jump them over there. Well, you got to send them all to Halo school. Then you got to teach them how to walk 80 miles and navigate and stuff. So
Yeah, I see it differently in terms of not a LURS kind of mission set. Yeah, there's some aspects of that, of course, but it is more of a clandestine type action, if you will. And the reason why is because you're not really going to do LURS stuff in an urban environment that is contested. At least in my opinion, anyway. You're not gillying it up. You're not doing all that kind of stuff. You're going to be doing, gray man type stuff.
Well, I know what the guys are doing in Poland right now, essentially.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So that's different. So that's kind of different than what I'm talking about too, though, because those guys are doing a little bit more LURS type stuff. They are wearing greens and everything like that.
Oh, okay. Well, now
greens uniforms.
I heard some other things about, the guys up on the border are doing some pretty fun, cool, but still kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's going on
exactly.
here? but then again, it's like when are we changing that training aspect of if that's the job now? Because what I see now at Chapman is I see a training pipeline that we needed 15, 18 years ago. We have the best training pipeline that we've ever had. These guys have the best equipment. They're using 152s and headsets and push to talks in tech school. And they're running around with modified M4s with all their lasers and things like that. And they're using the equipment that they're going to use on the ground, and they look like Rangers, but it's like, we're already like, oh, well, we're changing our mission.
Yeah. Well, so this, man, it's a massive ship to try and turn, and it takes a lot of time, because you're not talking about, it's not like AFSOC owns the pipeline. We are still beholden to what Air Education Training Command does, and they don't move quickly. Like, that's just it.
No, they don't move. They don't move anything at all. So we can just say AETC is a giant fucking lug of horseshit. Like, and I'll tell you my great AETC story was when I was an instructor, we had 7 blocks of instruction in the TACP schoolhouse. And at block 7, every student got to perform a live AC-130 gunship call for fire. Well, AETC in their infinite wisdom took that away because it was too dangerous to do with 3-level students. And it's like, these are people that are calling in airstrikes, and we can't call in airstrikes in school because why? Like,
so that's really bad then, if that's the case.
like I would love anybody that comes in to be the commander of AETC. I want to tell them that story. I want to tell them the story. We had this guy, General Rice, show up that became the commander right after that happened. And, he did the fireside chat thing with any questions and what is your opinion? And I raised my hand, and Brian Murray was like, don't you dare open your mouth right now.
Please don't. Please don't.
Just like, well, my opinion on AETC is that you guys are, you love the perception of training. You don't actually want to train. You're okay with doing things as long as it causes 0 injuries, 0 incident, 0 failures. But you don't actually want us to prepare these kids to go out and get on the battlefield, which they're going to be in 4 months of them leaving us at that time frame. Yeah. This was 2008, 9, 10. So like, my students were graduating, getting their beret, and 4 months later are in Afghanistan in the Korengal Valley.
Yeah. It's yeah.
What the hell was that?
I think you have your gestures turned on, your hand gestures. So iPhone has a new thing now where you can do, you can do things like that, or there's like a heart one that'll pop up hearts. It's, I don't know.
It's not picking up. Oh, fuck, dude.
See, there you go.
I don't even know where
How
that
am I
button
telling
is.
you about this? You don't already know this. You're a techie dude.
I know.
No,
So now that I've
going
pissed
back
all
to
the
that
tech
though, I
Ps off.
think that there's I think as a entire entity though, as a DoD and especially as an Air Force, we have become risk adverse. So I think that lens, it's like exactly what you're talking about in terms of AETC. Hey, we have brand new TAC Ps, we have brand new controllers, and oh no, we actually have an AC-130 live firing. That could be dangerous. There's operational risk management that's associated with that. Man, I don't know. Maybe these kids are too young to be out there calling in live fire, which is ridiculous, right? Because that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do, and that's what they're going to be expected to do.
Let's sprinkle in the whole home field advantage. It's Herbert Field. It's their test range.
Yeah.
Like this is every one of those air crews knows we could blindfold all of them and they would hit every target out there because this is their entire livelihood of zeroing their guns, of testing their guns. Like it is the safest possible scenario that you would ever get. A gunship on, the gunship range right outside of the Herbert Gate. Like,
yeah. Things aren't dynamic out there on the range on Alpha 77. They're always there. They rarely update them. And those guys spend, 3 hours a night shooting at the same targets. Like, I think they know what they're going to hit and what they can and cannot hit.
Well, even
a random truck doesn't just show up.
The students out there, and while they're doing it, read the grid, and the air crew goes, "Well, check that grid again, because that's your position."
Yeah, whoopsie. Yeah, but it goes. So the risk aversion is a big issue. We've seen that a lot in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe even a little bit longer. And I do think that we are, at least as a AFSPECWAR community, are trying to course correct that ship and get it, and I fucking people are going to laugh at me, but I always bring up the web school because, we tell these commanders and these senior enlisted, it's like, and the instructors, hey dude, keep pushing the envelope, get us to say no. Like, the commandant and I, get us to say no on something, on a training event or an idea that you have, because like at this point, we need people that are just, the thinking outside the box kind of thing to push the limit. And you mitigate risk where you can. It's just like you do with your companies, right? You mitigate risk where you can, but if not, you're not going to stay inside this little bubble just to make sure that everything's okay.
No, we've completely and that's the problem is look at the progress we made in the flying world in the 40s and 50s because of guys like Chuck Yeager, and they were given the ability to break shit. Like, okay, I don't know why we're not looking back at that and going, hey, this actually worked and it was worth the money. It put us way ahead of Russia technology wise, because we were letting creative people go out and risk.
Yeah.
So it's I want to bring
Boyd,
that back.
You had LeMay, if
Robin
Olds
out
there that haven't read it, yeah. I mean, just people that were phenomenal, and they took risks, and yeah, there were people that said, that scoffed at him and that were, trying to rein him back. But I mean, those are stapled names in all of the history books within the Air Force of what changed the game and changed the culture of the Air Force.
Yeah. We need to bring that back. We need to gain some more ground again.
Yeah, we do. The age thing though, I don't necessarily disagree with you on that one. I think one of the cool things about AFSPECWAR is that we are able to, right off the street, jump in on it. But I think that was needed.
Yeah, but is that the right answer? Like when you look
at that's what
we're building, like a controller is supposed to show up to an ODA tell me that a 28-year-old controller is going to be more respected immediately than a 20-year-old controller, and you've just eliminated a series of problems right out the gate just by making a gate. I mean, even if we went back to pre-18 X-ray program and said, you can't get into AFSPECWAR unless you're an E5. Okay, I don't know why that can't be a thing. Like, why do we have to accommodate an 18-year-old's dream? I don't care. Go enlist, and you got to do the job that the Air Force wants you to do. And once you've earned your keep, and this is my frustration with how careless AFSPECWAR is with inter-service recruiting. You've got a line of hundreds of guys to every career field, and you pick maybe a handful, and they are not putting like the mindset of this person paid their dues and now they should get first right to slots. If that means we don't have any slots for an 18-year-old, cool. I don't give a shit. Like, cry at MEPS. Like, you don't just get to wake up and go, oh, I want to be a freaking combat controller or attack P. No, you got to go put in the work and then earn your spot to get there. Like, so I am a huge proponent of focus on inter-service recruiting and make an age restriction. You're just going to get a better product. Let's just look at it. Let's just look at it by this. How many units, how much time, if we literally dove into this data the last 20 years and looked at, okay, how many disciplinary issues were there from a 24-year-old and down at every TAC P squadron? Like, and imagine that just disappeared. Like if we just took that off a commander's plate during the highest op tempo that our military has seen since Vietnam, like we just removed disciplinary and dorm issues off of a commander and first sergeant's plate, can we focus on the mission better?
Yeah. I mean, I forget what the saying is. A command team spends 80% of the time on 20% of the people, something like that.
Yeah,
because discipline issues. I mean,
but it trickles down too. You're tying up your E6s and your E5s who are trying to maintain currency or trying to run a program, and they've got to. I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks when I came out of tech school and went to the 7th ASOS, and I had 9, 20-year-olds underneath me. And it got to the point where I'm like yelling at them in the conference room. Like, I am now to the point where I don't care about you anymore. Like, the whole, oh, I'll take care of my guys. I'm not taking care of you anymore because you guys are doing such stupid shit. These motherfuckers got in a fight with a laser printer ink cartridge in the barracks, and ink was all over the hallway for like a week and a half. They had a scheduled dorm inspection from the first sergeant and left the ink like everywhere. So he comes in, explodes, has a fucking aneurysm, and then pulls me in. He's like, your guys freaking have printer ink all over their barracks hallway. And I pull him in and I'm like, listen, beating each other to death with a fucking laser print cartridge is hilarious. I love that. I love that you did that. That is fucking funny. But the fact that you let it sit for a week and a half, knowing that the first sergeant was walking in here to inspect, and you didn't paint anything and you didn't clean anything up, I'm like, that's where you guys are idiots, and I don't have time for
it.
True story.
Man, I kind of want to get in a fight with some laser jet toner.
It was everywhere. Like,
yeah. I can imagine, because that powder gets everywhere. No, I think if we were to do that, if we were to make that kind of change, I think we would have to change the way the Air Force promotes, and we'd also have to change the way that the Air Force views its senior NCOs, because it's perfectly normal for a SEAL team or an ODA team to have E7, E8, E9 on there, and it's not a big deal, right? You're not going to, on an ODA, you're not going to see an 04 or not an 04, an E4 on there, right? The lowest person you're going to see is probably an E5, and that's not going to be for that long.
But this is,
So
and this,
we would
but this
have
comes
to,
back to like my historical problem with the military when I was in, like, was the frustration of progress. Is the military as a whole and the Air Force, we love to just use whiteout. You know, oh, we're just going to take out this word and we'll look at us. We made good changes. Where I say, no, rip the whole page out, start over and do something different. Like do something different and see if that works. And then if that doesn't work, rip it out again, try it a different way instead of going, okay, well, we keep failing. Well, we're just going to change this one little thing. We keep failing, but we're going to change this one little thing. It's still not working. It's like, no, you need to get some creative people in there that are like, I got some ideas.
well, so I think you do have creative people. What I think it's you have folks that don't want to admit they failed. I mean, how many times when you were, because I think you ran a JTAC program, or at least you were an I. So you saw
No, I
the
was
records. You saw
I was the UTM. That was my final.
Okay. Oh, so
unit training manager.
even better then. So you saw the percentage rates. You saw the this person has 24 months in, or 30 something months in training, and they're only at 50% or something.
No,
like that.
I
So
I saw the me slapping these things on a commander's desk going, this guy has failed 4 reevals. Like, we have to desert. And they go, well, do we? That's just kind of a law, okay, then why do I have a regulation and why do I have a job? Like, why am I here?
Right. And that's because people don't want to say, hey, I failed, or this thing, so I think you do have people that are creative, but it's one, they're either being pushed down because they're like, shut up, we're not doing that. This is what we're going to go do because this is status quo. And I don't want to report that, hey, this thing that we're doing has failed. Or maybe it's just people that are just like, dude, will you just shut up? Just what do I got to do to get you to shut up and go do what I need you to obey? It's so much easier if you would just shut up and obey.
Exactly. Yeah, because I'm just here for 2 years. I just need nothing to happen, and that's it. Like, that's all we got to do. Well, like I've even said this. Like, imagine this. Imagine STSs didn't exist, but you had a group. So there's a group. And imagine when you guys got out of the pipeline and you're an AST, you're essentially vectored to either green or blue. So, okay, you're going to be a SEAL JTAC. Well, you leave AST and you go report to SEAL Team 5 in Coronado, and you spend your entire career there. And on occasion, every quarter, whatever it is, you go back up to the group, wherever the headquarters is. They check all your records, make sure you're doing everything great. But you are on a SEAL team from the time that you get out with a United States Air Force name tape, maintaining all your stuff. Obviously, you'd have a program manager at the group level, like maintaining everybody. But again, how many more problems would this solve when you're now an E7 in SEAL Team 5 and you have been there for 13 years? Like, you're their guy.
Yeah, no, I think that there's other things that would probably, falter on that. Like as you go on in terms of, okay, well, who's promoting you? Who's, Air Force.
Yeah, but that's up to us to figure that out. Like,
right. I don't think it should be like the Air Force leadership path is a flawed system in the way that not everybody should be, a leader. Right. It's like, hey, it's almost like the warrant program. Like, bro, I just want to be tactical and just fucking be a subject matter expert in my weapon system. And so that's warrant is the way to go. Like, dude, you imagine if you were just, if you could just stay at Tech Sergeant the entire time, because, I can't speak for an ASOS.
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, I'd be a CW3. Like, JTAC should have been a CW3. Like, because the Army would just speak to you different. Like, these are the things. Like, all of this is invented anyway. We invented the fucking rank system. We invented the way that we promoted. Yes. We all authored this. It's all made up. So why don't we make it up to work better for us? If you made JTACs warrants, again, it goes back to how many problems would this solve when it came to integrating with the Army or the Navy? Like instantly,
well, you just need SOCOM to become its own service. Then that's really what you need. You need SOCOM to be its own service.
Yeah, that would
and then
could do it
a
as
lot
well.
of this goes away.
Yeah,
it'll never happen. But I'm just
because you have everybody fighting for power. I mean, it comes back to the why. Why was the Air Force so stuck on trying to build a unilateral like weapon system? Like for what? For OER bullets? Like, so you could say, oh, the Air Force took that battle space. Like, what's the point? Why are we so upset with being enablers?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. And again, I maybe I'm missing it. Like, and I'm happy to have the conversation with somebody about it. But I don't know. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of folks that are older folks that are getting out, or they're kind of like, well, dude, I got into some shit. I got everything I wanted out of the job. I got job satisfaction. I got to work with a bunch of awesome Navy dudes, a bunch of awesome Army dudes, and I was fine doing what I was doing. And now you're trying to change everything that we've done. And again, things have got to change, right? Things have to change and evolve, but they don't have to have wide sweeping changes. Yeah, you're just thumbsing up in everything I say.
I didn't even do anything. Like, does it just look at my smile and it's like, oh, thumbs up?
Yeah, I think it's just it looks at gestures.
Let's get some hearts.
Because you were sitting there like this.
Oh, well, fuck. We don't know how this thing works. I mean, hopefully, I hope I'm just flooding your inbox of your friends going, why do you have him on? He just says stupid things. He wants us to work for the Navy. Yes, I do.
Well, I actually, so we had Chachi on a couple of days ago, and he was good in the way that he's good about not getting painted in the corner, right? But he was still critical of things that the Air Force has done, which is good because we should be critical. Just like everybody at the weapons school and in Air Force Special Warfare should be critical of me, right? You should be. You should question everything that I'm doing. And if I can't explain to you why we're doing something or why this decision was made, then I'm fucking up. And also you got to also understand that every decision that is made, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the 100% solution, because no decision is going to make 100% of the people happy or solve 100% of the issue that's going on.
Well, and they don't give us
guys in Black Rifle
the space for that. Like you generally don't have the space to solve. You have to solve. Everything comes down to triaging. Like, you're constantly triaging at this at your level, at my level in the business. Like, you are looking at things generally based on the largest amount of effect and the largest cost, and that cost is not just cost in money, it's cost in time, manpower, everything. So I'm looking at, okay, this one problem, JTAC snoo down at Bagram or whatever, that's arguing with his entire battalion command staff because of his mustache or his beard or whatever the hell it is. It's like, hey, we're trying to solve bigger problems up here. I need you to just stop doing that. Like, get older, please. and back to my age thing.
Man, you're just calling everybody kids, and you're such a boomer now.
Because we did stupid shit. Like, I was on the crew 2005 where it was just a bunch of 19, 21-year-olds across the board of Iraq, like, doing stupid shit, writing our own shaving waivers and rolling our sleeves up and getting yelled at by the army. Like, I mean, we were causing so many problems for the E7s and the brigade TAC Ps all the time. Like, giving the army fake phone numbers when they asked for the number to our boss. Like, God, we were just menaces.
Yeah, well, that's what you get. Not you. That's what they get. I mean, dude, you're downrange. Who cares what? Like, are you really going to roll in on somebody for not wearing a freaking reflective belt? Like, come on.
Oh God, they love it. They love to do it, but not anybody that's actually working over there. I'll put that out. So no one that was doing anything worthwhile was running around the fob pissing about fucking belts and going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit on the base.
Well,
for you. I think for you.
That kind of stuff was only happening at the big bases. Your Bagrams, your Kabuls, your Kandahars, and stuff like that. I don't think anybody at a fob, at least I'd hope not, an actual fob was worried about any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we hope not.
Yeah. Well, what?
Well, I mean, we were rolling back into the gate. Oh, I was going to say we were rolling back into the gate on Merez with ODA 384 and our senior medic, who's like 40 years old, like been on a million trips, whatever. And we're coming back into the gate and the like 19-year-old gate guard private army guy is yelling at him to put his helmet on. And he just looks at him and he goes, "Stay in your fucking lane." And they drive off. It's just like, but projects, I mean, I've started a new career recently, with stand-up comedy. So I've got a lot of performances coming up in Vegas. Actually, I will be at the LA Comedy Club at the Stratosphere on the 21st and the 22nd
of January.
Yes, of January. You should go, because if you are there, then I will open up with my my bit about being a really bad JTAC and how scary that is. There's two jobs that you shouldn't be bad at, and that's the airstrike guy and the spine surgeon.
Kind of important.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I'll have to check the calendar and make sure that I'm in town for it at least one of the nights.
Bring the class.
No, that's awesome. And you got your own studio set up is that in your house?
Yeah. And yeah, right behind the camera here is the vocal booth. So I've been doing a lot of music with the band this Saturday. We just did, I'll text it to you. We did the craziest cover of Danger Zone, and Spreeder is trying to get the Air Force to back doing the music video to this, because it's like a metalcore version of Danger Zone. It's wild. Like, I'll send it to you and let you take a look. Yeah. You're going to see him trying to squeeze Nellis support into a music video.
Jeez. Well, no, but I mean, you've always had a studio set up in your house, but you also have like a stage and a comedy little section in your house too, right?
That's right here. So this is the whole bar. Jeez. And then this direction is the stage. And yeah, we've been performing here for about 5 months, once a month, 2 days a week, to kind of get our practice, get our feet wet, tune the jokes. I've got a really good reps. Vegas joke that I'm doing while I'm in town. That's about my first time in Vegas, where I was there for weapons school support. So I was there for 7 weeks, staying at the Hooters Hotel at 19 years old.
Ooh. Of course, at that time, at the age of 19, and how long ago that was, Hooters at that point wasn't bad. Now, though,
no, the hotel was.
I don't
awesome.
know anybody that's going there right now.
Really?
Yeah. That's why
it was like
I don't know that anybody goes over there now.
It was like new, I think, and it was super nice. And I in that joke I was talking about, well, I got to stay in the Hooters Hotel because I'm in the Air Force. We're the target of the military branches. We're bougie. We got money.
Yeah. And now that's probably $35 a night kind of thing now.
Yeah.
if it makes it, because it's right by the Tropicana, and now that they're going to start tearing the Tropicana down. I'm not sure
Oh,
when,
wow.
but because that's where they're going to put the Oakland or the Las Vegas athletics stadium over there.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
big project.
Yeah, man. I don't know when you were here last, but they got the sphere up, and it's pretty amazing.
I will be there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Well, that's good, dude. Um, Chachi, Chachi shared a funny story with us about you, and I say funny just because it kind of checks. But he was saying that you're, and this is what I actually appreciate about you, and I think it's actually I'm tying it back into where our frustrations are with as slow as the DoD and the Air Force moves, but the yeah, man, I wish I could say it as clearly, articulate as clearly as he did. But he said your decision to action, you know, gap is like non-existent. He was saying how you wanted him to go buy some furniture for the office, and he's like, okay, cool, and he's still thinking Air Force, like, okay, I got to go get three vendors, three different sources. I got to do some quotes. I got to do, all this stuff. And in that same day in the afternoon, you were like, hey, is that stuff ordered yet? And he's like, well, what? Just blown away that you're like, yeah, man, like, come on, like, move,
Just do it.
and
Just do it.
It's yeah.
And then we fix it. If we have to
But
fix it, or we audible.
Well, no, you're exactly right. And that's one of I guess the downsides to doing this job as long as I have, or as long as Chachi has, or, some of us older dudes, because now once I retire, I'm really going to have to get into a different mindset, especially if I end up working for, a company or something like that, like that has that short decision to action gap.
Yeah. I mean, it all is coming down to the triage thing, though, too, is like even with something like that, it's as simple as this is such a minute item that we just need filled. Like, I do not need to look at something that has a $60 or $100 price difference. Like, I don't care. Go get this met so we can move on, because we need that. That's like a step in these 10 steps that I need to get to 10 fast. So if you're hung up on 3, it's like, no. Blow that out. Like, time is more expensive than money. So let's get that. So, like, yeah, I am like sickly stupid at, like, I sit there and go, that, let's go. Like, I don't know.
Now, has that bitten you in the ass?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it has plenty of times, but I wasn't not prepared to deal with whatever the repercussions were. Like, I'm fine. Like, a decision needs to be made. Is it going to be the right one right then any given time? No. But if we sit on it, is that more costly to us? Generally, yes.
Yeah. No, and the reason why I'm asking is just because it's things, we've said that exact same thing. An 80% decision now is better than a 100% solution 2 weeks from now, because you got to make a decision. You got to go with it. And no decision is going to be 100%,
something
satisfactory
I
to
brief,
people.
Something I say a lot to people that work with me, for me, alongside me, is, like, I call out the theory versus reality. Because 90% of the time, people open their mouths in a meeting, or they open their mouths when you're making a decision, and they start saying something, and immediately I'm like, you don't know the answer to that. You can't know the answer to that. So is that theory, or is that have you done that? And I've done this 100 times. Have you ever done this before? Like, well, no. Okay, so what you're saying is made up. Like, you don't know. You're sitting here building a hypothesis off of something that you've never done. It's kind of like, no one out there is truly like a 100% expert on social media. No one is truly a person that knows everything, that knows the formula to going viral. Like, and anybody that says that, like, you're full of shit, because if you've done this as long as me, you know that you cannot predict this. Yeah, there are characteristics of certain videos, if you have a certain large enough channel, that will perform well. But for me to say, oh, if we do this, this will go viral, or if we post it this time, this will be better. It's like, no, this is a fucking shot in the dark, and the amount of chance and just luck and like right time, right topic, right place, like that just went out. I mean, we just had on Time for Pi, we just had a clip talking about Russia's space satellite, like us shooting our own satellite out of the, you know, it's a 30-second clip, a fat electrician talking about this. It went like 2 million views with 1,000 or, you know, 10,000 comments. Like, what? Why? Like, that was like just a silly thing that Dave cut and put up on Instagram to load something on Instagram. And then all of a sudden it grew us 7,000 new followers in the last 10 days. Like, we didn't know. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's because we know what we're doing at all times. No, we fucking didn't. Like, that was a shot in the dark. Like, before my Instagram was deleted again yesterday, I put a clip up of Heather essentially telling me that I'm gay, and that got 250,000 views. So apparently people just need to talk shit to me, and that does really well. So let's try that.
So wait a minute, your Instagram got deleted again yesterday?
Yeah. I'm not being targeted for content at all. I'm being targeted by people, these large accounts. So somebody's after me. Somebody's upset with me. I don't know who it is, but these large Spanish accounts,
that's
like, they're like 1 million plus followers. They're mirroring my profile, like changing everything over to look like mine, and then they report me as being the fake. So I keep getting removed as a fake, even though I was verified and they have my freaking driver's license.
That's weird. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're verified.
I was. I mean, now I don't exist.
Jeez, dude. Oh my God, man. That's unreal. I mean, you hear about that kind of stuff, and you know, I know the Drinking Bros, you guys were hovering at 100K in terms of subscribers on YouTube for a long time. And then all it took was, I mean, it took like 2 or 3 years for you guys to get past it. Now you're in the 200s or whatever. But, if you're not playing the game, then you're going to get throttled.
Yeah. Well, Time for Pi is doing really good. We've got a really good cultivated audience over there. Like, the episodes do really well. And again, it's a show that's very unique. It's a show that I call an escape. There's no news, no updates, no politics. We don't even interview our guests. We just drag them into horrible conversations for an hour.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you and Caleb are entertaining, just to bullshit with. So I mean, it kind of makes sense.
We are,
and he's a likable dude too.
Very likable. We are gonna have Tim Parlatore on the show, and we're gonna spend an hour discussing legal loopholes when it comes to genies. So we're gonna try and find a way to get more wishes out of a genie from a legal perspective. So I have one of the top lawyers in the country that's coming in to discuss genie law with us.
So you mean to say that we can't do my first wish would be for unlimited wishes? You can't do that.
No. Yeah. See, that's part of genie law, but I think we found a way around it. And that is, we're going to wish for things that the genie, my first wish is going to be something that the genie really doesn't want to do. So he has to barter with us. So like, my first wish was, hey, genie, you've got to suck all the dicks in the world without using magic. And now he's like, okay, now I've brought him to the bartering table. I legally, my wish was within the purview of the wish legalities. So
Oh, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to have to do that.
Okay, that now it's like, okay, now you're at the table. Like, let's go. How many more can I get? Like,
Where are we going with this? I
yeah,
mean, we
if I'm
can make it
unwishing
happen,
this,
but
I get 4 more. Like,
jeez. And that lawyer, he knows that he's coming on to discuss this.
oh yeah. I mean, he's one of the best attorneys in the country,
Okay.
if not the best. Yeah. I mean, he knows Genie law. So, I mean, we're going to get there. We're going to find a spot. So Genies are probably going to be,
I mean, how many people know Genie law?
Yeah, probably like 34. Most of them are gypsies though.
Yeah. Well, you can't trust gypsies. So
No, not at all.
did you hear about Firegate?
No. There's a new gate that's taken over
No, you
Cattle
didn't
Gate?
hear about Firegate with the,
No.
no, well, talking about with, the AFSPECWAR, Firegate. I'm amazed. Well, actually, you've been booted off of Instagram, so you probably didn't hear anything, did you?
No.
Excuse me. So one of the, I won't say which ASOS, but they had a little whoopsie with a rental van and some battery packs, and you know what happens with lithium batteries, right?
Yeah, they burned a band to the ground, didn't they?
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Why is that
out in,
so
on top of?
Why is it a conspiracy? Why is it a gate? Like, why are we?
It's a gate because you have different people saying who messed up, who set it up wrong, how things actually happen. That's why.
Can we not just go, oh man, the batteries exploded. That happened one time in the last 25 years. Oh well, insurance will cover it.
Well, and that's the kind of the point is, and again, I won't say what company it was, but people are throwing them under the bus, and it's like, hey, dude, they got a pretty good track record of
yeah. This stuff is going to fail.
Issues.
Like it will eventually fail. It failed. Stop fucking. Why do we have to blame somebody? Why can't we go, oh man, we packed a bunch of fucking NiCad acid and lithium in a box and it exploded? Fuck. Like, no one, here's the thing. No one in that entire chain that is involved in Firegate has an even basic understanding of the chemical biology that is made up to develop what the fuck is in that battery. So for them to even try and start pointing fingers or playing fucking piss games is like absurd. And I hope it's one of my friends. I'm going to find out when I get off this call because I'm going to make fun of you.
Well, I don't know if it's somebody you know or not, but it's pretty fucking funny.
It's great. I love it.
Luckily, nobody got hurt. Like it happened.
I'm gonna make a shirt that says "Burn More Vans" with the fucking squadron patch, just to fucking stoke this fire.
I'll tell you after we done recording. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Because I have all squadrons artwork on my hard drive here. I will have this shirt.
Well, as you can imagine, Lowercase Dooms was all over it.
I can't wait. Yeah, see, I haven't been able to watch it yet, so I know nothing. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. When you don't have Instagram, you pretty much lose life.
So how long had you been without it before then?
It was almost a month.
Jeez.
Like, dude. So they deleted me like a month ago. I got it back for a week and then they deleted me yesterday.
So do they give you your old account back or did you have to create a new one?
No, they gave me my old account back. I might be able to get this one back too, but I'm almost kind of like, I just want to start over because even over on the Time for Pi one, I've got 4x the reach on stories. So it's like, well, shit, why am I not posting
just because the algorithm's doing better?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So maybe I might just hang out on Time for Pi.
I mean, as long as you guys aren't at risk of getting, blocked, reported, or whatever it is. That's actually something that I've been concerned about with us. is not that we post anything controversial or anything like that, but I mean, relatively, we are a pro-military kind of thing, and
yeah, and Silicon Valley journalists right now have a hard on for anybody that's trying to get young people to join the service. So,
yeah. Aaron Trent and I have talked about this. Is like, hey man, we can't put all our eggs in one basket, whether it's YouTube or Instagram, and that's really our two big. Yeah, we've got the audio on Spotify, which I don't think is a worry or a concern there, but I mean that's our reach right now. I don't know if we need to diversify or not.
No, I think you guys are fine. I think you'll be all right.
I don't know.
We're good.
Got you on here, so
causing trouble as always.
That's it, man. Well, good, dude. Man, I appreciate you taking.
Burn all vans.
Burn them straight to the ground.
Fuck yeah, I'm stoked.
Well, dude, I appreciate you joining us. And I hope I'm here in town because I'm gonna try and come out and see you at the LA Comedy Club on the 21st, 22nd of January. So
thank you very much,
yeah,
and to all the Ones Ready listeners out there, we love you. Follow Lowercase Dooms.
Yeah, man. Unfollow Ones Ready. Follow Lowercase Dooms. Is that what
Follow both. You need the updates.
Yeah, you got to have the updates. So, all right, man. Everybody out there, thanks for joining us.